Welcome to another episode of Raw and Uncut New York Sports Talk. We're going to be recapping the Mets 4-game series against the Washington Nationals. It wrapped up today, Thursday afternoon. I'll tell you what, man, these past 2 games, I hope the Mets use as some kind of momentum going forward. Because if you remember last series against the Florida Marlins, or Miami Marlins, whatever the fuck you want to call them, we won the last 2 games of that series, right? We won the series 2 out of 3, and it kind of felt like we were going to, get a little bit of momentum, right? We're playing a little better, bullpen's coming around, yada yada. But then we run into Monday night, the first game against the Washington Nationals, and Steven Matz decides to bring his F game. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. I used to think it was all between the ears with him, but now just watching him pitch, his pitches are flat, no movement. He's throwing junk up there. The guy is completely doesn't look comfortable pitching. He doesn't look like he wants to pitch. I think he wants to opt out because his body language is pretty disgusting to me at this point. He put up a complete shit show. He gave up 8 earned runs, 3 more home runs. He's got to lead the league in home runs given up because, he's giving up a home run every freaking game, I think. Just very, very poor pitching by Steven Matz. I don't know what's going to happen with him. We're short arms in the rotation, so I think we have no choice but to pitch Matz going forward. But man, oh man, I don't know what's wrong with that guy. He's really, it's really bad with him. I hope he can get it together. So Monday night for game 1 against the Nationals was a complete disaster. The Nats were hitting everything. The bullpen even gave up runs. On top of that, Scherzer was on the mound for the Nationals. He went 6 innings, struck out 7. So it was just a bad game all around. And then game 2, we only give up 2 runs, but the Mets only score 1 run. So, they continue to have these games where they're just not hitting, leaving men in scoring position, and that's really been the moral of the story for the Mets this season, right? It looked like the bullpen was going to really take the blame for how the Mets season started, but they have somehow turned this thing around, especially in the month of August. Their ERA is like 3.4 or something like that for the relievers in August. Really, really good bullpen play here the last, this whole month really, if you look at things. But, so game 2, Porcello turns in a pretty decent outing, but the bats fail to score runs. So now we're down 2-0 in the series, and then in game 3, Robert Gesellman comes back. He's activated, and he gets to start. I guess he's going to be stretched out for a place in the rotation. I'm guessing Waka comes back. Matz maybe gets moved to the bullpen. Maybe that'll do him good. I don't know. But Gesellman gave up a 3-run home run in the very first inning to Juan Soto, who, by the way, memo to the Mets, don't pitch to that guy. He absolutely killed us in this series. But after that, Gesellman looked pretty good, you know what I'm saying? He only needed 13 pitches to get out of the second inning, threw a lot of sinkers, and his stuff didn't look terrible. His pitches looked more lively than Steven Matz did on Monday. So going forward, I think we'll see Gesellman, maybe the next start he gets stretched to 4 innings and then 6 and so on. So let's hope he can put together some consistent outings. That's all I'm looking for, is just be consistent. And the bats came to hit in game 3. What really impressed me were the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Conforto, Alonso, Dominic, Smith. In Game 3, they combined to go 7 for 11, 8 runs, 8 RBIs. Once again, the middle of the lineup was, really productive. And, things can get contagious, especially for any offense that's been struggling. You need 1 or 2 games to really kickstart things, and for the hitting to go around the whole lineup to start. And that's exactly what happened. Luis Rojas put out pretty much the same lineup on today, Thursday afternoon. He put out the same lineup with the exception of Wilson Ramos being benched for Tomas Nido. And I'll tell you what, that proved... Ramos needed a day off. Besides needing a day off, he has been horrendous. I think his batting average is like 190. He's just not hitting with runners on. He's just playing really poor. Look, with runners on, he's 4 for 27. He's got 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 6 strikeouts, no walks. His slash line with runners on, 148, 259. Huge disappointment. Tomas Nido did not disappoint today. He hit 2 home runs, including a grand slam. And he's gotten a hit in all 5 games that he's played this season. So what I would really like to see is, maybe them split some time between Ramos and Nido, because Wilson Ramos is just not cutting it right now. And the last thing that this offense needs is a rally killer. Like, every time this guy comes up and there's runners on, I just explained to you the numbers. It's just the results haven't been good. So that's something that we have to avoid. And look, we're getting into a point of this season that time is ticking, and we need to put our more productive players out on the field right now. If you're not producing, then really this roster of the Mets is pretty deep, I'd say. Okay, they're not all superstars, they're not all great players, but I think they all somehow have a spot in this lineup, and they're all interchangeable. Like, we have players that can play multiple positions. We got players that can bat anywhere in the lineup. And if you're not producing, if you're not being productive, if you're not making game-changing plays, then I think you're forced to be sit. Like, there's no time to waste. And I think that's what's happening right now with our infield. Like, I don't want to say there's a dilemma, but there kind of is. Like, Ahmed Rosario has not played very well, okay? And he got hurt a little bit, and now he's got the stomach flu or a bug or whatever. And Cano was on the 10-day DL. He looks like he's going to get activated on Friday. So in comes Gimenez and Guillorme, have gotten the starts lately, and they've been productive. Like, they have played great middle infield, second base and shortstop. The double plays are there. There's hardly any errors. There has not been many errors, if any, that I can remember. So now the Mets have to really, or Luis Rojas has to. He's got a decision to make. You got 4 guys, you got 4 middle infielders, and you can only play 3. And say what you want about Luis Rojas, but he's got a hard job. Okay. Any manager in baseball has a hard job. Luis Rojas has a really hard job. Okay, there's only 60 games, a short spring training, and you got all these players, okay, that play a lot of different positions, but they all play kind of like the same positions. You know what I mean? So he's got a decision to make between Cano, Rosario, Gimenez, and Guillorme. Now, I'll say this. Gimenez has been a game changer. He affects the game in a positive way, but he affects the game. Okay? Between his speed, his glove, his bat hasn't been all that bad. He's a game changer. And I think you need to keep him in the lineup right now. Rosario, I'm not going to give up on that guy. I think he's got a lot to offer. Maybe this little bit of rest helps. But I'm not giving up on him. And Cano, as much shit as I've given Cano in the past, before he went down, I think he played in like 11 games. He was our best hitter. I mean, his stats with runners on position, okay, with runners on base, he was 5 for 12, a double, 6 RBIs, 3 walks, slashing .417, 500, and 500. So he was our best hitter before he went down. After he goes down, our offense is not so good. We're not hitting with runners on. So, I mean, it's fair to say that he's been our missing piece. So you have to play Robinson Cano. And I think Guillorme doesn't impact the game as much as Gimenez. And that's why I would move Guillorme back to the bench. He's played very good for us. And that's all we can ask for. But he belongs on the bench on this team. I think you have to play Rosario, Gimenez, and Cano. Like you can DH Cano, put Gimenez at second, Rosario at shortstop. You can, what I would do is I would put Rosario at DH, Cano at second, and Gimenez at shortstop. And but you got to keep Rosario on a short leash, because if he continues to not produce at the plate, then it's kind of like having Wilson Ramos, right? Just killing rallies. So, but you can't give up on Rosario. I think he's good. I think he's got a lot to offer, and there's some upside to the kid. He's still a kid. He's still learning, but he doesn't have much time, because now you got Gimenez, kind of breathing down your neck. So again, time is ticking. Luis Rojas, I think, has a very difficult decision to make. And that's why judging him for this season is a little bit unfair. But, it's still fair to critique. But I think we have to, be fair when we're doing it. So, we'll see what happens with that. But like I said before, the Mets are in a good position. I think they have a very flexible roster that you can move some pieces around. And let me tell you, Luis Rojas will get all the credit in the world if he makes the right moves and they pay off during the games. If they don't, if they backfire, everybody's gonna shit on him. But it's a hard job. It's not easy. And like I said, today, game 4, Tomas Nido with a 2-run shot, and then hits a grand slam. McNeil made a run-saving play in left field, but unfortunately he got hurt. Hopefully he's going to be okay. They said the x-rays are negative, so that's definitely a good thing. And look, I'm going to keep saying it. This kid Peterson is... he got into trouble early. The Nationals loaded up the bases and were only able to get 1 run. The one thing that sticks out with me about Peterson is the guy does not break. Luis Rojas mentioned poise a long time ago with David Peterson, and he definitely shows it. I mean, the guy gets in jams and he's able to get out of it. I mean, he really looks calm out there. He looks like he feels in control of every pitch. A lot of confidence. Body language is real good. He doesn't look like he gets down on himself. That is so big, because the rest of the team sees that. You know what I mean? So it's really important for, especially him being so young, to get off to this really good start. I think he's like 2-1 on the season. So real positive things I'm seeing out of David Peterson. So we have 3 against the Phillies, we have 4 against the Marlins, and we have 3 against the Yankees coming up. Look, man, I'm gonna keep it raw and uncut with you. I think the Mets, I'm not counting out the Mets. I didn't count them out last week. I'm not counting them out after this week. The Phillies are struggling. Okay, the team can put up runs. They have a good 1-2 punch, but they got bullpen problems. Kind of like how the Mets had bullpen problems. They got them real bad. I don't think their bullpen, the Phillies, is good enough to turn it around how the Mets have. Okay, so they're going to rely heavy on scoring runs and Nola and Zach Wheeler and whoever's going to step up as their number 3 starter. Okay, so I believe we can take 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. We got 4 against the Marlins. The Marlins are going to cool off. I think they're playing a little way over their head. They've gotten lucky, so I think they'll cool off. And then we play the Yankees, who I hope we can cool them off, or they come in cooled off by the time we play them. So, things are not looking terrible for the Mets. And on top of that, the Braves are fighting injuries and strikeouts right now. They have no Soroka. They lost him for the season. Ozzie Albies is hurt. Acuna is hurt. That lineup strikes out a ton. The Nationals, they have some pitching issues. I don't think Scherzer is all that healthy. Strasburg, I believe he makes only his second start against whoever they play next. That lineup, I mean, besides Soto, who really scares you in that lineup? They got some decent hitters, but nobody scares you, right? And the bullpen, their bullpen is shaky too. So sometimes, besides playing well, you need a little bit of luck on your side. The way things are breaking, as I see them go forward, I see the Mets really turning this thing around. That is not the fan in me. I think it's, if we've been watching these games, this lineup is deep. The pitching's been there. It just hasn't been put together. So it absolutely can be put together. Dom Smith, the last 2 games, I'm going to rattle off some players here because I think they deserve a little bit of shine. Dom Smith, his last 2 games, 4 for 9, 4 runs, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Conforto, besides Robinson Cano being our best hitter before he went down, it's been Conforto. He's been holding it down for the whole season. This series, he went 7 for 14, scored 4 runs, 3 RBIs. Brandon Nimmo, this series, he had 2 home runs, a fantastic catch in center field in Game 3 against the Nationals. Edwin Diaz in the month of August, 6 games, 5 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk. Batters are hitting 176 against Edwin Diaz, .80 whip, and a 0 ERA. I mean, he really has turned it around. I think he's embracing this role of pitching more often. I think he's been pitching every 2 days in the month of August. So that's kind of what he said he preferred. So, Jared Hughes, he's been pitching great. I don't think he's given up a run either so far in August. The whole bullpen is really impressing me, and the way they've turned it around, I think we have to be really proud of this bullpen. So, that's pretty much it for this recap of the series against the Washington Nationals. Hey, check this out. Michael Conforto with runners on, 13 for 38, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 4 walks. He's slashing 342, 405, and 632. I mean, how big has Michael Conforto been? That guy's been really big. Let's not forget, he's coming off a 30-plus home run season from in 2019. And I didn't even mention Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is playing a lot better at the plate. His fielding sometimes scares me a little bit, but at the plate, he's looking more comfortable. He's not chasing as much. Now, the guy that's running into a slump is J.D. Davis. I think his last, not including his last at-bat today, but he's like his last 8 at-bats, he's 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts. So he might be in a little bit of a slump. Hopefully, the rest of the lineup continues to hit, and the pitchers give him some nice pitches that he can feast on to break out of this little mini slump. It shouldn't last too long. He's been really good at third base, playing his natural position. He looks really good, strong arm, looks a lot better than McNeil did at third base. So I'm really, I'm excited to see J.D. Davis stay at third and continue to make those plays. I'm not even going to talk about Gimenez because I've been on Gimenez for a long time. Whatever he does, his glove work does not surprise me anymore at this point. It's totally routine for me. I feel like it's completely routine. There's a lot to like about that kid. I've been saying it for a while. I'm going to continue to say it. I'm glad he's getting playing time and he's making the most of it. His glove work is the real deal. His reaction time, his speed is... Anytime Gimenez gets a single, you might as well award him a double because he's going to end up on second base. He's got 5 stolen bases already, tied for the major league lead. We must protect Andres Gimenez. That's it for this recap, folks. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow on Twitter, Raw and Uncut, New York Talk. Until the next one, keep it raw and uncut.